Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can economize these objects, which are random flow results. So this model is from the video where I showed you the new solver for random panels and random loop extrude, which by the way is for the next update as per the release of this video, and random flows version in the store, version 2.8.5. So this is coming out for version 2.8.5 plus. Okay. So basically we're going to get rid of the extra resolution on these objects and turn them into a low to mid poly with a quad structure using quad slice. Okay. So it's quad slice. This how this works is it basically turns the uses the vertices in the selected faces and using the normal of the face turn this into a Cartesian, um, sort of like it cuts invert, shoots a line in the x and y axis in the Cartesian plane on the selected faces, so kind of like that each vert. However, we will not see, for example, this vert, we will not see the cut line because we already have an edge going this way and that way. So when it cuts a line, it immediately gets joined to this vert. So we're not going to see that effect. What we're going to see is the lines that actually crosses the face and not from the that and not from the vertices that can overlap the cut lines. So what we're going to see here is this and this. Quad slice, tangent. So tangent speaks tangent is the edges in the selected faces, and this when you cycle through them, one, two, three, four, that of course changes the direction of the cut line. So right now there's only really two directions that are unique to this face, and this is this one and this edge here, which kind of like that. So that's why when you cycle the tangent, it has this one here, so it's using this edge here, and this one here, which is using this edges here. Okay. And view is when you look at it's going to shoot, the vertices are going to shoot the lines based on the XY axis of the view angle of the viewport. So anytime you change the angle, the look angle of the viewport relative to the work mesh, and bring up the redo panel using F9 and then click on view again, it changes the view. It changes the direction of the cuts. You can do this by facing the, you can also, this can be used when tangent does not give you any reliable result using the face edges. You can use view for to get a straight line from by looking straight at the face to get a straight line. So you can use Shift 7 on the numpad to basically face the selected face or faces. So Shift 7 and then quad slice view. Only if the tangent is not giving you reliable result. Okay, and also the selection must be in the same plane. If you select this and this tangent, you can see that it's not working for this side here. So the edge that was probably used for cutting was from this face. And you can see that it's not working right here. It's supposed to cut like that. So when you're selecting faces for quad slice, it must be on the same plane or must be on the same normal plane as all the selection must be on the same normal plane like this. And it could sometimes work with this selection, but just to avoid any errors like from this selection here. And you can see if I quad slice here and we try to get an edge from here, you can see that it works correctly here, but the direction it's using is does not work or behave correctly for this face here. So when you select faces that are mostly planar for with each other, okay. And another thing, since the bici or the lines that are projected in the face or cut into the face are in the XY axis and depends on the direction of the edge. This mostly works with angular faces based on the look direction. So even if it's curved like this, it works great, but it will fail when the faces are literally turning on that plane. Okay, so since the vertices are shooting straight, it cannot handle really can't handle this type of um, configuration of the topology. So they must be straight and they must be in the same plane. Okay, so the cube here is the source object, and this is already, we don't need to actually work on this because um, let's just hide it. So because the random flow results are already covering the source object, and with the random flow with just the objects that are the result of random flow, it's already it already looks like a uh, complete mesh. So we don't need the cube, which is hidden behind this object, so we don't need to actually deal with that. Okay, select one mesh, shift G, then shift G is select group, shift G, then use type. So you can click on type or you can use the hotkey, the shortcut key, which is the T. So shift G and T, and go to edit mode, selecting everything, and limit dissolve. You can limit dissolve after using the random flow operators like random panels, or inside the operation. For most of the random operators, you can limit dissolve while you are using the operators. But since if you want to keep the quad structure, so you can easily model the models manually, put in some manual details like after the randomization, which is easier with a quad structure. Then and decide to just economize the resolution afterwards. Then you can just select these meshes and go to edit mode, select every face, and use limit dissolve. So X limit dissolve. Max angle 5 degree is the default, and we can leave it at that. Okay, now let's start to quadify, and let's start with this. So there, this is the result of random panels. All these objects here are the result of random panels, meaning that these face islands are separated from each other. You press L Go to face selection mode and hover on a face and press L to select all the faces connected to it. So the face islands, which from the result of random panels, are separated unless you select everything and merge by distance. Then they are now unimesh. So if you wish to keep the separated structure of the mesh, so you can of course isolate them, Shift H, which makes it easier to just you know individually design them. So just press L, then Shift H, or you can delete L, X, F. So you can just decide to make them whole by merging the verge after you have finished the editing the topology. Okay, selecting this face or yeah, selecting this face. Let's deal with this first, and we don't have to use quad slice for this. Just use Control T to triangulate, and then Alt J to quadify, and then F9 to bring up the redo panel of the quadification. Tries to quads and set this to 180, which is the max. Okay. Now for this face, we're going to use quad slice, tangent, and we're going to um, so instead of just selection, the geometry, we're going to use linked. With all faces, it's going to uh, cut the entire face of the mesh. So just the linked, and you can see here because this vert is cutting on a straight or literal XY axis. It's doing that. It's cutting this way and this way. So we have a property to avoid that, and which is the distance. It kind of works like merge. It kind of works like merging doubles using M. So this merge vertices, but F9. If I increase this, you can see it disappear, but still keeps this line right here. So again, if you use quad slice and set this to the default value, you can see this edges here. And we can just increase this. So I often use 0.01. Okay, that's quad structure. Selecting this one. And we get a okay. So for that, that is this line here. So let's get this back to 0.01. Okay, 0.005. There we go. Okay, 0.006. And there's a problem here. And this one here, since it's cutting this way and this way. So let's just delete this. And this becomes a quad. And press G twice to slide the edge. Kind of that way. Okay. And we could also align this to this. Make this the active selection. Press period and active element. scale this to the y-axis because that's the direction we're going to use to make them straight in that direction, and press 0, and now they're straight. Period, and let's get back to median point. Okay, so for this one, um, again, Control T, Alt J. So now they are quad and another object. This one. Let's hide everything else. Okay, selecting this face. You can actually select multiple faces from multiple face islands. So click, this one is already quad. We don't need to do that. Click and this one here, and this one here, and this one here. Okay, and quad slice, tangent. We have distance of 0.006. Let's see some if there are any errors. So this one here is supposed to cut that, supposed to have a cut right here. Let's get this back to 0.005 or 0.004, but this edge showed up. Okay, let's slowly, okay, let's capitulate and use 0.005 just to get rid of, okay, 0.006 just to get rid of most of the faces using distance. Okay, 0.005, and we get most of it with some errors. Increase this 0.006. Okay, that's good. And this one here, one slice just selected, and 0.005. Okay, now we have that line, and this one here as well. So we'll use, instead of using linked this time, for a more intimate repair, just use selection, tangent, and 0.00, 0.005. There we go. And just delete this. This one as well. Delete this, and tangent. There you go. Delete this. Oops. I think I used all faces selected. And delete this. Also this. Okay, so we can check for ingons using select a face, then Shift G, and then polygon size F9, and more than or greater than from the selection. So greater than 4 edges, and there we go. We have this one, which is a different plane from what we're working on here. So let's start working on this plane. Quad slice, tangent, okay, linked. Okay, let's just get rid of this manually. And this one here, tangent, also linked. Okay, so Shift G, polygon size greater. So there's no other selection, so everything is qualified. And these parts have been qualified. Okay, this one and this one. So let's work on this one. And quad slice geometry is linked. Press these two. There we go. No other areas affected by the amount of distance. That's good. Can actually get rid of this. And this one, quad slice. Get rid of this. There we go. So this is already quad. And let's check for any ingons. No more ingons. This one is, I think just mostly quads, polygon sides. Oh, there we go. Shift H. This, why is this? Oh, this one here, just do the Control T, Control J combo. Control T, Alt J. Control T, Alt J combo. This one, quad slice link. Maybe just selected. There we go. Shift G, polygon size. Wait, no more ingons. And this one here. Um, Actually, let's just use selected. There we go. And this one, tangent, tangent. Okay. Alt H. Let's pick a quad and Shift G, polygon sides. Okay. Everything is quadded. Now let's try it here. And I think, oh, this is all quads already. Not this one. Selected and choose a tangent. Okay, Shift G, polygon sides. Okay, no more ingons. Okay, Shift G T, go to edit mode and pick a quad. Shift G, polygon sides. Okay, there's that one and this one. Tangent. Shift G, polygon sides. Shift H. This. Okay, I think this is the source object. Can get rid of this. Just makes him and just make them quad. So yeah. So now they are. Or the face island. Now they are quad structures, or the face islands are. Okay. So yeah. So what's the advantage of having, since this is hard surface, and if you use it with an ingon structure, it doesn't really matter because this is again hard surface and an angular model. What's the advantage of um having a quad structure? It's because um having an ingon structure, you can quite easily UV it. It doesn't matter if it's quad or ingon. You can easily UV that using Blender. So, in my opinion, having a quad structure, it's easier for you to just go back to the model and put in some additional design. It's because you can just control R to add edge cuts, and then you can just begin extruding shapes from that versus for example, if we limit the solve and give this back to an in constructor, you can't use loop cuts on you can just loop cuts on ingon faces or subdivide it. You can do that. You can only do that on a quad structure. Loop cut on and subdivide, which give you more faces to play with. So I think that's the main advantage when using a quad structure like this. So only for this demonstration is only for objects that are separated in edit mode, which is the result of random panels and random textured. So these are face islands. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use this method to quadify a unimesh or a single mesh, which are not separated in any mode. A single face island or a closed mesh in edit mode. Okay, so these are now all quads. And you can see that this is much better than actually dealing with this. So we have now economized the faces involved in this model. And I think it looks cleaner and also lighter for the scene. Because if you're rendering with such high resolution, even if the shapes are very simple and if you have a lot of faces on that model, this can eventually impact the your render times. These faces are going to have increasing um, contribution to the amount of how heavy the footprint is. Its footprint is when you're rendering a scene, and it also works hand in hand with the shader you're using. If you have higher topology, a higher resolution, I mean, and a really complicated um, shader which uses procedural shading. So procedural shading, if you have a lot of nodes, which especially uses math nodes, is going to be really, it can take Blender a long time to process that shader, and you couple it along with a model that has high resolution, then that model is going to slow down the viewport when you're rendering, or when you're slow down the render times when you're finally rendering the scene. So this makes the sense to um, at least for an angular model like this, you can just limit the solve, triangulate. If you're set with the design, then you don't have to actually quantify this. You can just limit the solve and triangulate. But if you want to keep the design as an asset and you want to eventually um, you want the chance to quickly change the design when you add it to your scene, just to of course make it different on that particular scene, then you can qualify it, so you can easily add loop cuts and subdivide and give you more faces to play around with. So it's easier to do that. Okay, and then also with this low resolution, much faster to render. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video, and that is for the operator quad slice. So you can see that makes it faster to quadify faces. It has some weakness, but overall it's a really convenient tool to use. So you don't have to actually use the knife on, especially on in-guns that has a lot of verts. Quadifying that with a knife can take a long time. So quad slice is your friend when it comes to that. So quad slice in Creative Flow. If you don't have Creative Flow, you can and have random flow only. You can find it in mesh quad slice. You can of course since in random flow this can be found inside the mesh submenu. So when you're using it, open up Shift Q to open up random flow, then go to mesh and select quad slice. This can take time because you're opening the mesh submenu, then going to the quad slice operator. You can set it, right click on it, and click on this, add to quick favorites. Then if you press Q in edit mode, it will be listed on this. Q is the hotkey for quick favorites. But if you have Creative Flow, you can find Quad Slice on the main menu outside of any submenu. So it's much faster uh, to access. So both add-on have this grid project Quad Slice. Just in case uh, you have Creative Flow alone or Random Flow alone without the other one. So you can still use the functionality. Okay. If you have any questions, use the comment sections below or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.